So I'm very excited to be the first to present my TED Talk titled Diaper Changing in the NICU. Can this impact the infant's microbiome? The information that I will be presenting today comes to us from Dr. Brandon's infant microbiome research, where we were really interested in looking at what are the implications of nursing caregiving activities on an infant's microbiome through the course of their stay in the NICU. And we have video data over the first 5 days of life. So really, I want to kind of center your mind around 3 things: babies and their microbiome, the NICU, and diapers. So first off, when I talk about the microbiome, I'm really talking about the naturally occurring composition of bacteria, microbes, viruses that we find throughout our body. And research has really demonstrated that this composition really affects our overall health. And the relationship between us and our microbes begins prenatally, and then it evolves with us throughout our lifespan. And usually an infant will get their microbiome starts developing, like I said, prenatally, through their route of delivery, whether that's vaginally or C-section, and then once they're at home with the mom and dad and in the family environment. But what happens when we introduce the NICU setting, or that infant becomes sick, and now that they're in the hospital, which is a very atypical environment and can look very different from the home environment. So we're kind of now looking at these nursing care activities, which some are very high-tech and can be very invasive and very involved, but also include very routine infant care giving, like a diaper changing, that any parent has probably performed. So I really now want to draw your attention to how this event typically looks in the NICU, and I'm going to show you a clip of what this looks like from our data. We tried to embed the video, but we had a little technical difficulties. So as you can see, the nurse has gloves on, which is great. She does take her hands out in the middle of the diaper change. And she starts, what you don't see from the video is that once she's fully complete with this event, she takes her hands out, changes her gloves, and continues on with feeding and some other activities. But what our video analysis really showed from the data of these 5 babies was that there is significant variation in how nurses perform this event. Sometimes they would take their hands out multiple times. Sometimes they would finish the diaper changing, take their hands out, take their gloves off, do their hand hygiene, and return to feeding or other care activities. Sometimes they would stop midway through the diaper change and maybe put a pacifier in the mouth or do other activities. So it was a very interesting picture and an eye-opening window into the things that happen during a very kind of routine event. So what does this tell us? Well, really it tells us that there are a transfer of organisms. We know that things are moving from the nurse, from the gloves, from one part of the infant's body to the other part of the infant's body. What we don't know at this point is, does this have a positive or a negative impact on the infant's microbiome? And how does this really start to develop that evolution of the microbiome, starting in the NICU and then follow them throughout the course of their life? So then the next steps really are for us to take this video analysis, the information that we have from these caregiving activities, and match it with microbiome data, swab data that we have from these infants, and overlay them and really match them to then start to really see this picture of what does the microbiome look like of these infants at specific care points, and then what does it look like during their NICU hospitalization. So thank you very much.